Hi guys, it's been a while. September was an extremely busy month. Lots of rum events and rum tastings and stuff like that. And then I moved, and I'm not in my current place. I'm actually cat sitting for a friend and decided to hang out with the cats and taste some rum. Um, so, of course, because I just moved, that means I have boxes everywhere and I need to unpack stuff. But I do have one box that's labeled sample vials, and I dug through that and grabbed a few things that I knew that I hadn't tasted before on a video format. And I figured I could just grab some of those and taste them while I'm hanging out with the girls, with the cats. And I am so far behind on tasting samples. So hopefully I'll get to bang out a few of these videos and actually taste them for you. I just got another package in the mail with more samples to taste. But what we're going to be trying now is the 3 unaged rums that Habitation Velier just released, and I think they're now just hitting the shelves in the US, or probably by the time this video comes out, they'll be hitting the shelves in the US. It's their Renegade, Savanna, and MOBA unaged releases. So yeah, we're going to start with those. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Robin from This Blog's Neat. I don't only taste rums, I also make rum. I like to talk about how it's made, how other spirits are made, and taste other spirits and things like that. The whole purpose of my channel is to help consumers and others gain more appreciation for spirits, and especially how they're made. That's the part that I love the most, is how spirits are made, especially rums. But if you're interested in other spirits, you can dig around, and I have a lot more about other spirits, a lot more videos about other spirits. But anyways, as I said, today I'm going to taste 3 unaged rums just recently released from Habitation Velier: the Renegade, the Savanna, and the MOBA. And we're going to start with the Renegade. I'm starting in order of lowest ABV to highest ABV. So we're going to start with the Renegade. So Renegade started in 2020 and they have since recently closed. They're located in Grenada, and the bottling that Habitation Velier just put out is from 2025. Renegade is cool. They kind of focus on what some might call terroir in rum, meaning that they focus on the flavors that are coming from the soil, the land that the cane is grown on, and from the varieties of cane themselves. So they do release, or they were releasing, single cane variety rums. And they were all made using fresh pressed cane juice, locally grown, obviously, in Grenada. If you're using fresh pressed cane juice, unless you're freezing it, you must ferment it immediately as soon as it's cut and pressed. But this bottle in particular, this is I want to call it the Cain, sugarcane variety, C-A-I-N. I'm sure that's not at all how you pronounce it, but it's a sugarcane variety that is grown on the south coast of Grenada at Old Bacolet. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that properly either. As I said, it's fresh pressed cane juice. They do long fermentations. I'm not sure exactly what that means for them. And this is distilled using a double retort pot still. The total congener concentration for this bottle is 328, which actually I also organized these in order of congener concentration without even realizing it. But it's 328.1 grams per hectoliter of pure alcohol of total congeners that they measured. And it's bottled at 55.2% ABV. This is really nice. This is a really nice, just cane juice rum. Like right off the bat, you get those like olive tapenade, also like oyster shells, and a little bit grassy, a little bit vegetal, but it's super briny on the nose. I'm getting some like banana peppers. I hope you're not able to hear the truck backing up right now because of my microphone, but it's possible that you are. And underneath that brininess, there's some delicate fruits, star fruit, maybe some green apple as well, maybe like touches of mango, a tiny little figginess, like fig jam. Wow. Okay. The palate is very different. It's very, very mineral heavy, really rocky, gravelly. There's weirdly almost like a smokiness to this as well. Mm. Okay, now we're getting the grass, pepper. There's black tea, but it's like a cheap, oversteeped black tea. Grape skins at the very end, like dark red, dark purple grape skins. Okay, that's it. It's more like oyster shells. But yeah, still like kind of living in this very much minerally, maybe a tiny bit of Band-Aid, but super interesting. Yeah, okay, more of that in the finish. There's more of that brininess that comes forward, a lot more oyster. Ooh, seaweed. Yeah, we'll call it seaweed in the finish. Yeah, definitely. Okay, like the nori little seaweed snacky chips. Just salted, just really nice. Okay, we'll move on next to the Savanna HERR. Does anyone say HERR or do you also say HERR? But this is a Grand Arome rum, and HERR stands for High Ester Rum Reunion because Savanna, Distillerie de Savanna is on Reunion Island. Now, unlike the Renegade rum, this one's from Molasses. It's from the Bois Rouge sugarcane factory. There's probably lots of things that I'm mispronouncing today. It is also long fermented for 5 to 11 days. I think they go up to 15 days. And it's fermented with vinasse, which is also known as dunder or stillage or backset, depending on what industry you're coming from. And they also ferment using specific bacteria strains as well. And that brings forth a lot of those funky flavors. So they are actually like culturing their own bacterial strains that they're using. This is then double pot distilled in a very cool looking pot still. It's not a traditional looking pot still. Hi. The cat just joined me. This is bottled at 62% ABV and has 499.9 grams per hectoliter of pure alcohol of congeners, not just esters, all congeners. Normally, with Savanna's Grand Arome, I get this note. Hi, you want to be in the video or you just want to be over here? Normally with Grand Aromes, I get this note. There's a cat ear. That reminds me of millipedes from Florida. It's this millipede muskiness. That's normally what I get, and I don't get that on this. And I know a lot of people get bubblegum on Savanna and Savanna HERR, and this is the first time that it's just like so pronounced. There's a cat. Heidi, what are you doing? Do you like how it smells? It's also like you filled up a rubber glove, like a latex glove, with strawberry jam. It's so fun. There's some mintiness too, some like straight up menthol mintiness. So there's also like a damp mulch thing, like the fresh damp bag, when you get mulch straight from Home Depot and it's still, you cut it open and it's warm and damp and I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that's what everyone experiences when they get mulch from Home Depot. It's been a while since I've got mulch from Home Depot. But yeah, the sweetness on the nose is really cool. I found the millipede muskiness on the palate, but ever so subtly. Nope, there it is in the finish more. It's kind of like building. So initially this is just like strawberry Pop-Tarts, tons of strawberry Pop-Tarts on the palate that kind of carries through the entire experience. Then I get that little bit of millipede muskiness building, and at the end it's Sharpies. Lots of Sharpies at the very end. This is so funny. That bubble gum, there's a little bit, the pink bubble gum. What's that's like very chalky when you open it? Is it just hubba bubba? Hubba bubba? The nose now reminds me of like the smell you get when you first walk into Staples. There's a little bit of fig Newtons on that sip. And pickled ginger. I didn't get so much of the millipede musk on the second sip, but I did get more Sharpie. That's really fun. I quite enjoy how much bubble gum there is. Okay, last but certainly not least, because it has over 3,000 grams per hectoliter of pure alcohol of congeners. We've got the MOBA. So MOBA is a distillery in South Africa, and they are also using fresh pressed juice. I've done a video about MOBA. It's pretty cool. I also have samples, MOBA samples that I need to try. Man, I'm like now remembering all the samples that I haven't tried or I haven't tried in video format that I owe you guys because they're really cool. They're really fun. They're really fun rums. But this specific bottling, the Habitation Velier bottling of MOBA, is from fresh pressed cane juice from the N49 and N57 varieties that are grown locally in the Mpumalanga River Valley. They do an extremely long duration ferment. So they are doing, part of this is from 14 days of a wild open ferment, and then most of it is from fresh juice that has been fermented for 28 days, again, wild fermented, and this also has dunder added in. I don't know how much. I do believe it's only one time distilled using these pot stills that were custom made by the distillery, custom fabricated by the owner of the distillery. Why am I forgetting his name? I should know his name. And I think they primarily, for their like higher congener, higher ester rums, do only one single distillation, but they split up the distillation into various cuts and then taste them and blend them. Some of those cuts will make it into the bottle. Some of those cuts will get redistilled to produce a lighter flavor profile rum. Some of those will go into barrels. So that's why I believe that this one is most likely just distilled one time, and I have no idea what exact cuts they've chosen for this bottling. But as I said, it's 3,019.7 grams of congeners per hectoliter of pure alcohol, and it's bottled at 66.2% ABV. It's a ton of acetone, a ton of nail polish remover. Damn, I can't really get past that. I'm gonna have a sip to try and help me unlock more of the aromas on the nose, but it's just a lot of nail polish remover. Okay, there's more going on in the palate, but there's still just a lot of that. The nail polish remover doesn't come across as straight up acetone. It's now much more nail salon. So it feels like there's a little bit more to it besides just acetone. There's also this like custardy tropical fruit dessert that I'm not able to really put my finger on. Maybe like a mango custard thing. Okay, let's see if that helped the nose a little bit. It did a little bit. Now I'm getting some glue, like wood glue on the nose. And some actual wood as well. Almost like dusty particle board. But yeah, it's really interesting because the MOBAs that I've had have been like so crazy on the nose and the palate where we're just like, we're here, we're there, we're over, we're everywhere. And it's just jumping, jumping, jumping. And this doesn't, I'm not really getting a lot of like all over the place, different flavors, like crazy weird pickled vegetables. I remember getting a lot of that. And we're not really going there. We're kind of just staying within this nail salon now. It's less acetone, more nail salon. So I'd be really interested to see what the actual breakdown of the congeners is, like how much ethyl acetate is actually in here. If anyone at Habitation Velier who has the chemical analysis is watching this wants to let me know, please reach out. It's getting a little sweeter on the nose, so maybe some like general kind of like a floral honey thing. Yeah, I feel like I'm really searching. There might be a little bit of pickled vegetables. There's figs on the palate, fresh figs, maybe some apple, like the dried apple slices. And then back to the nail salon, there's some pepperiness. And interestingly, it also has that Sharpie note that comes in pretty strong in the finish. So similar to the Savanna HERR. I'd be interested to see how that develops if I let it kind of like sit out and air out for a little bit before going back to it, especially on the nose. And I'd be interested to taste it alongside some of the other MOBA samples that I have, because I don't right now, and maybe it's also because I just tasted it after the Renegade and after the Savanna, and they're wildly different, right? I'd be interested to see how it stacks up with the other MOBA samples that I have, because yeah, just I don't know that this one's my favorite MOBA bottling that I've tasted. But again, I'd like to go back to it because I am a really big fan of MOBA. I think they make some phenomenal rums. Yeah, but with that, guys, I mean, if anything that I tried sounds delicious to you and seems like something you would enjoy, I do believe that these are now on the market in the US. I'm really excited that we're seeing a bunch of unaged rums getting released, because I do love unaged rums. I like to be able to taste the raw ingredients, and I like to be able to see what the yeast and what the fermentation brought to the table, as well as I like to see what the distiller intended you to taste, without it being transformed in a barrel. With that, guys, I do want to give a huge shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to support the channel. And if you, the viewer, would also like to support the channel, the normal YouTube things, great. Please do all of those. And also, we'd be really, really happy to have you join us over on Patreon. I've got a link in the description below, as well as like all the information about these bottlings in the description below. I'll add some links, or future Robin will add some links and stuff like that to get more information and to figure out where to get these bottles. If you've tried any of these, let me know what you thought and which one was your favorite, or if you had a different experience with one of the rums that I tried. If maybe it's just the new environment that I'm in right here that is kind of skewing my tasting notes or anything. Like, that's entirely possible as well. But yeah, let me know what you were getting as well. And stay tuned. Hopefully I'll record another video. Hopefully I'll record a lot more videos of all the samples that I need to go through and need to taste.